talk about the zoning commission more tonight than the BZA. But both of these agencies hear what are known as contested cases. And that's a little term of art that lawyers like. I'm a lawyer. I like these terms of art, but it bore most people. It's a term that comes out of the District of Columbia's Administrative Procedures Act. It divides cases that agencies are going to hear, quasi-judicial agencies, between contested cases and rulemakings. It doesn't mean that there has to be opposition. It just means that there are parties. There's an applicant, and then there are other parties. And a contested case in the zoning realm, the affected ANC, which is the ANC in which the subject property is located, and sometimes the ANC across the street, if it's right on the boundary line, they're the ones that are automatically parties. And they also have all the rights of parties, which means they get notice. So they get notice of the application, which you have.
Yes.
And then they also get notice of the public hearing, and they get notices. They get all service of all the documents that come in from all of the other parties. They also have an obligation to serve the other parties and to make submissions.
How is that notice delivered?
We send out a lot of U.S. mail. We are still helping the U.S. Postal Service. Now, single-member districts are asked by I'm not sure whether by Gottlieb or by our office, but we do give you the opportunity to receive email notices, but you have to opt in to getting email notices. We don't just assume that. Just so you know. And the other ability of parties is that at the hearing, you can cross-examine other witnesses and other parties. You also have the ability, as a party, to ask for reconsideration, but you don't have the right, as a district agency, to go into court against the decision of another district agency. However, single-member district members do. As citizens, yeah. So, this is the very global viewpoint. Parties get notice of the application and the public hearings. They can cross-examine. Okay. The affected ANC, we've talked about that. It's within the boundaries. They're the automatic party. The ANC across the street often has to apply for party status, but it's usually granted pretty easily.
And by ANC, you mean single member?
No, I mean the entire ANC. ANC 5B is an automatic party to this case. Now,
ANC, single-member districts are not ANCs, we're just like sub.
yeah, they're
We have to be the full body.
but they both the ANC and the single-member district get notice.
And in this case, we have received the notice. We received it by mail. I actually also received it by email because I was up to get a vote. So we got the Oxbridge formal map amendment request on November 23rd, and as I always do, I'm sure I posted it and sent it to all the community members, so you all probably have it too. But it's on the zoning website.
So, one of the things about the zoning commission contested cases is that before there is a public hearing, the zoning commission sets down the case. They have a meeting, a public meeting, in which they hear from the Office of Planning and they determine whether the case meets consistency with the comprehensive plan, whether it's really right for them to have a public hearing, and they vote to set it down or not, as the case may be. And in this instance, they have set down this case as a contested case. They decide Is it a rulemaking? Is it a contested case? Because there are different rules that apply. And then they ask the office at some future point to set a public hearing date, and then we put out a notice of public hearing. There is no notice of public hearing as yet. So, okay, thank you. I'm being as okay, so what is it that you guys get great weight on? You get great weight on your written report. But your written report has to meet certain legal requirements to get that great weight. You have to give notice of a properly scheduled meeting, a public meeting, that's held in accordance with the ANC Act and with the zoning regulations. Meetings such as this, there needs to be a quorum present for the whole meeting.
Not SMD meetings, everyone. Your regular scheduled monthly meetings, not single-member district gatherings. OAG said we need to call them gatherings, not meetings. Not SMDs, the formal regular meetings, the monthly meetings.
Yeah, and we have a form on our website. It's a Form 129. You don't have to fill out this form, but the form helps you make sure that you hit all of the required notes. That you know, when was the meeting held? Was it properly noticed? How was it noticed? And all of these, was there a quorum? What was the vote taken? And giving specifically any recommendations that the ANC has with respect to the project. Now, I'm just going to make a little aside. One of the things that you need to understand is what is the applications, what is the basis of the application in the zoning regulations? It behooves you to take a look at the zoning regulations. The entire 11 DCMR, that's District of Columbia Municipal Regulations, they're on the website. They're only web-based. A few years ago, during the beginning of the Fenty administration, the entire DCMR was put on the website, on the Secretary of the District of Columbia's website, and a copy of that is linked to our website. So they're very easy to look at, provided you have a computer. And the reason I mention that is that you just want to make sure that your recommendations, whether you support or whatever the project, that the basis of your vote